In 1991, Iraq had one of the strongest air defense networks in the Middle East. The Iraqi military had bought radar, missiles, and guns from both the Soviet Union and France. These weapons were set up to protect key targets like Baghdad, military bases, and oil fields. Iraq's officers controlled a tight network, hoping to stop any air attacks. The United States and its allies knew that breaking this network was the first big challenge. For the air war to succeed, American pilots had to fly safely into Iraqi airspace. The goal was not just to avoid losses, but to gain control of the skies quickly. This would allow bombing raids to hit targets without heavy risk. If Iraqi air defenses stayed strong, the United States could lose many planes and pilots. That would slow down the war and increase the cost. So the question was, how do you take apart a web of radars, missiles, and command centers fast? The answer was a clear, step-by-step plan. The United States brought advanced technology and new tactics into the fight. This playbook would change modern air warfare. SAD stands for Suppression of Enemy Air Defenses. DED means Destruction of Enemy Air Defenses. Both ideas are about making it safe for pilots by taking out the enemy's ability to shoot down planes. The United States approach was careful, smart, and used different tools for each step. First, you must blind the enemy. If radar cannot see your planes, it cannot guide missiles or guns. Next, you need to break their brain, the command centers that control the entire network. Then, you must disrupt how the enemy talks to itself. If commanders cannot send orders, the system breaks down. Decoys and special missiles are used to trick and destroy radar sites. Meanwhile, Wild Weasel aircraft hunt down and attack missile launchers and radar, flying dangerous missions. The plan was not just to destroy every missile or gun, it aimed to make the whole enemy air defense network useless. Each step weakened Iraq's defenses more and more. In the end, the system would fall apart. Planes could fly freely, and the rest of the war could move forward. The first targets in Desert Storm were Iraq's eyes, the early warning radars. These radars could spot incoming planes from far away. They gave Iraqi commanders time to get ready and aim missiles. The American plan was to blind these radars almost right away. Special helicopters called MH-53, Pavlos, and AH-64 Apaches flew into Iraq just as the war began. These helicopters came in low, under radar coverage. They carried teams who could find, jam, or even destroy radar sites. They hit the biggest radar stations near the border, cutting off Iraq's ability to see what was coming. Once the main radars were down, Iraqi officers were forced to use backup systems. These were weaker and easier to fool. American jets then flew in, facing much less danger from the start. Blinding the radars was like stealing the enemy's glasses. Without their eyes, Iraq's air defenders were left guessing. With Iraq's radars blinded, the next step was to attack the brain of the network. These were the command and control centers, often hidden in bunkers or underground. These centers told missile crews when to fire and gave orders to radar sites and guns. The United States used stealthy F-117 Nighthawk bombers and Tomahawk cruise missiles to hit these command posts. These weapons could fly deep into Iraq and strike with precision, even at night. When these centers were hit, the whole network became confused. Without their command centers, Iraqi crews had to work alone. They could not get updates about enemy planes or follow new instructions. This made their defense much weaker and uncoordinated. By cutting off the brain, the United States made sure that even working radar and missile sites could not fight effectively. The next move was to attack how the Iraqis talked to each other. U.S. planes carried powerful jamming pods. These devices sent out signals that blocked Iraqi radars and radios. When the enemy tried to track planes or send messages, all they got was static. Jamming made it hard for radar to lock onto targets. It also blocked commanders from talking to their missile crews. Sometimes the U.S. even sent false messages, adding to the confusion. This electronic war happened high above the battle, almost invisible, but very effective. Jamming forced Iraqi crews to turn off their radars or switch to backup systems. Those were easier to attack. Many missile and gun crews did not know where to aim, so they shot blindly, or not at all. The US called this soft kill. It did not destroy hardware, but it made it useless. At this point, Iraq's defenses were weak. But, many radars and missile sites were still hidden and dangerous. The United States wanted these sites to reveal themselves, so they used decoy drones and special tactics to trick Iraqi crews into turning on their radars. When a radar was switched on, it sent out signals. U.S. planes carried anti-radiation missiles, like the AGM-88 HARM. These missiles could, home in on radar signals and destroy the source. The decoys drew out the enemy. The missiles did the killing. This deadly game forced Iraqi crews to choose stay hidden and be blind, or turn on radars and risk destruction. Most sites that tried to fight were quickly wiped out. By combining decoys and special missiles, the U.S. made sure almost no radar or missile launcher could survive if it tried to operate. Even after the first waves of attacks, some Iraqi missile and gun crews tried to fight back. The United States sent in Wild Weasel aircraft around the clock. These planes, like the F-4G and F-16, hunted for air defense threats. Wild Weasels flew low and fast, looking for signs of radar or missile launches. When they spotted a threat, they attacked with anti-radiation missiles and bombs. These missions were very dangerous. The pilots needed skill, courage, and quick thinking. Wild Weasel crews often went back to the same areas to make sure no new threats appeared. Their constant pressure kept Iraqi defenders off balance. Many Iraqi crews simply gave up, too afraid to turn on their radars. The Wild Weasel mission became a key part of keeping the air safe for other U.S. and Allied planes. By the end of the first days, Iraq's air defense system was broken. Most radars were blinded or destroyed. Command centers could not work. Crews could not talk to each other. If they did, they were quickly found and attacked. The United States did not destroy every missile or gun. It broke the important links: eyes, brain, and voice. The rest of the system fell apart. Pilots could then fly almost anywhere in Iraq with little risk. This step-by-step approach showed that a complex defense can collapse if key parts are taken out. The network was only as strong as its weakest links. Once those were gone, the whole structure failed. The Desert Storm playbook became a model for future wars. It proved that careful planning and new technology could defeat even the toughest defenses. Today, the United States and its allies still watch countries with strong air defenses, like Iran. Iran has learned from Iraq's defeat. It has built a modern network with new missiles and radars. But the basic idea stays the same: blind the eyes, cut the brain, jam the voice, and destroy threats. The lessons from Desert Storm guide current military plans. Modern seed and dead missions use better drones, smarter weapons, and more powerful jamming. But the step-by-step approach remains the best way to beat an enemy defense. Iran's commanders know what happened in 1991. They make their systems harder to attack, but the United States still trains for the same kind of battle, just with new tools. In any future crisis, this playbook will be used again. Breaking the air defense network is still the first, and most important, step to victory.